You're thinking about building a website, it can sound very intimidating. From the aesthetics of the website, to making sure you have good photos, to coding, there's just an endless list of things for you to do. But as someone who just built their own website, I want to give you 5 hacks to make your life easier when building a website for the first time. My first tip is to use a website called Coolors to make sure that all your colors are seamlessly blended and fits well together. One of the first things that you have to do when building a website is 1, pick the theme, and then 2, decide how it's gonna look. And a big proponent of what your website is gonna look like besides the layout is its colors. I feel like colors really tell the full story. If you're gonna use pastel, bright colors, it's gonna look fun. But if you're gonna use like a neutral color or a tan, it's gonna look cozy, it's gonna look welcoming. So colors like definitely tell the story of your brand. And I don't know about you, but sometimes it's hard for me to kind of look at colors and see what looks good together. So for me, I knew that I wanted to use a couple colors coming out of my logo. I'm a brand that uses a lot of fun, bright pastel colors. I knew that I didn't want to just have those 2 colors as part of my website because I needed a different color for text, because a lot of my colors are very bright, pastel, they're not really accessible for reading. So I needed kind of like a darker color to have as my text, and I wanted to kind of see what looks good with those 2 colors and like what dark color I can have that fits complementary to those 2 logo colors. So what I did first is I needed to get the code of my logo colors. So I went on a website called Red Ketchup, and from there you just kind of upload your photo, and then they kind of break down every single color that you are using for that image, and from there I can get the hex code, whatever code that you need for that color. And then you go on coolors.com and then you plug in those 2 hex colors that you have, and then you kind of just play around with whatever colors you think looks good on it. So yeah, let's start using this tool. So I just pasted my hex code of the tea rose and the light blue. So you want to make sure that you lock these 2 colors so that they don't change, and you'll see in a second when I press the space bar that all the other colors that are not locked will change colors. So for now, like, I don't like these other 3 colors, the vanilla, the earth yellow, and the buff. So I'm going to press the space bar and I'm going to continue to press it until I like the colors that look good with my first 2 colors. So let's continue. I don't like any of these. And just say, for example, if I do like one of them, this old gold, I want to keep it in my color palette, I can just lock it, and then only the onyx and the eerie black will continue to change colors. And you continue to do this until you like all the colors that look good together. Just gonna continue doing it. I'm just gonna stop it there. And that's your color palette: the tea rose, light blue, sapphire, old gold, and cream. These are not the colors that I chose for my website. This is kind of an example of what you can use it for. So again, the tea rose, a light blue, they're very light, so I'm not going to be using it for my text, but because the sapphire is a little darker and it's more like legible, I would be probably using that as my text color, and then the old gold and cream could be used for other colors. But again, you can just continue to change these colors. If I don't end up liking this old gold, I can just unlock it and then continue to press the space bar until I like the color that I would put in my website. But yeah, that's how easy it is. Like, you can get the colors that you want and then like save or screenshot this page, or I think you can actually just save it too, and then you already have the hex codes so that you can put that into Shopify. My next tip is regarding your main image, and specifically making sure that you have a white background on your main image. I think it's pretty standard for a lot of websites to have your product and then the background being white, just so that it's very clear on what the item is. A lot of big companies like Walmart, Amazon, Target, they all require like that white background so that people can easily see it. If you ever want to sell to these retailers, it's kind of a requirement to have it anyway, so might as well have it readily available for your website as well. When I first did this exercise, I either use like Procreate or Photoshop to kind of remove the background of my item and then just slapped a white background. A hack that I found that was much easier is using this Adobe background remover. It's an app. It's very similar to Canva, but this one is free. All you gotta do is go on Adobe Express and then upload your image and then remove the background, and it's easy as that. And it looks so clean. It's like almost as if you photoshopped it. And it's definitely such a time saver, especially when you have a million items that you need to add a white background to. And honestly, maybe there is a better way to take photos with a white background already, but no matter how much good light I have or the type of camera that I have, I can never get the same white as the website background. And also, like, what if you have really good photos already of your product but you don't have that white background? It's easy using this tool to just remove it. Not a lot of people have the luxury of time to retake all their photos with a white background anyway. Okay, so my next tip is using Canva for additional image assets. So one thing that I like to use it for is once I have that image with the white background, I like to put sizing of the product that I have. So a lot of people have like misconceptions, especially when you're buying online, of the sizing of like a sticker or a pin, and I just wanted to make it clear of what the sizing is. And to be honest, I feel like a lot of people don't read the description. They rather just go through the photo, and to make it easier for the customer, I like to just include dimensions in a photo form. And what makes it easier is I do it like once. I put the height and then the width, and then I just switch out the images over and over again, especially because a lot of my pins are the same size. It's like an inch. So I just have to remove the image, put the next one in, and then that's it. And I save it all and then upload it onto Shopify as a asset, and that's it. Besides that, you can also create a lot of like graphics on Canva that's like pre-made graphics that you can just play around with, make it your own, but then also giving like information about your product. So for example, if you were to sell candles, you can have a graphic on like what the candle is made out of, how'd you make it, the ingredients, the different type of allergens maybe. So it's so easy using Canva to make quick and fast and professional looking graphics. My next tip is using Copilot for your coding needs. So I don't know about you, but I don't know how to code at all, and there are parts when building this website out where I wanted something very specific, but I didn't have the skill sets to build that out. I don't know if it's because I'm using like a free Shopify theme versus one that I have to pay for, but the themes that I'm using is kind of hard to make it my own. There's a lot of limitations on what you can do on certain pages, so I think coding is definitely necessary when building out a website, if you wanted to make it your own. But if not, then it's so easy to just use the default, the free themes that Shopify includes. You're able to code, you can change up the sizing, the color, the layouts. I wasn't able to do any of that without Copilot. I was kind of just able to describe what I wanted the page to look like, the sizing, the different texts, the colors, and then Copilot was able to just like spit out a whole code for me to just copy and paste. An example of a page that I kind of did myself was my about page. So what if I wanted, instead of the text being right next to my image, I wanted it to be under it. So let me show you real quick how I'm able to do that. Okay, first things first is you go to the About Me page or wherever page you are wanting to update, and then you have to grab the code here and press on Show HTML, and then you grab the whole code, copy it, and then you go into Copilot. And I'm just going to ask, like, can you take this code and make the image above can you make the text below the image? And then I just copy or paste the code in here, and then it should spit out a code for you. It's just gonna take a minute. It's just like writing it. And then once it's done, you copy it, and then you go back to the about page, take all the code away, and then you paste it and save it. And then if you want to check the about page now, you just refresh it, and the image is above the text, which is insane because, like I said, I don't know how to code at all. So this was so easy to make, and that's as easy as it is. And you could just ask Copilot anything. You can make the image smaller. So if you want to just continue this thread, you can ask, can you make the image smaller? And then it should spit out another code for you. So once it's done, I'm going to copy it. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm just going to go back to my about page again, paste it all in, save it, and then I'm going to, yep, see, like it makes your image smaller. It's so easy. It took like 2 seconds, really. So it's as easy as pie to use Copilot to help you do all your work, and you could do it throughout the whole website. The next tip is regarding page speed. I think one of the most important things about running a website is the page speed, because you have to think about it. If you are going on a website and it's taking forever for one page to load, are you gonna have the patience to just stay in the website and buy something? Think about it as if you are in person and you have to be in line to get into a store, and you're probably not gonna stay on that line if it's gonna take like an hour to get into the store to shop. It's the same thing with your website. Obviously, you're not gonna take an hour to just load one page. But I feel like with society these days, like we have no patience to wait more than like 2 seconds for a page to load. So again, page speed is so important when it comes to having customers stay on your page. If no one stays on your website, no one's going to end up buying your product. What I recommend is using a website called pagespeed.web.dev. It sounds kind of crazy, but it's very easy to use to just check on how well your website is doing. So let's check out this page. So it's very easy. You kind of just type in your URL. So doodlesbyindie.com, and you press analyze. And it's gonna take a second for it to kind of go through your website and crawl all the pages and see how everything is doing. It's gonna pick up like all the images, all the text, the different like clicks you have to do to get to certain pages. So again, it's gonna take a minute, but now that we have it, oh my god, it's kind of embarrassing, but my performance is at a 74 out of 100 on my mobile. So I think that's like an okay score, but you want to be, you know, in the green zone, like the 90 to 100. But what's so great about this is it gives you kind of metrics on where you can improve on. So what I can do here from this is kind of see where the pain points are, where it's red, and see how I can improve on the website. So if you drop down to any of these red ones, so for example, maybe this serve image, let's see what it says. So I'm using JPEG, or I think PNG, maybe one of those. But it's recommending that I use a format like WebP or AVIF to just have better compression, which leads to a faster page. So it's recommendations like this that they give you so that you can have a better page, faster speed. It's definitely insightful to just look at your page every once in a while, especially when you're making a lot of changes, adding new products, to see how fast the pages are loading for both mobile and desktop. But I think it's super important to have a good, you know, page speed and page score, especially when you're first starting out, because you don't want to lose out on potential customers from leaving, because if they leave, you won't have any customers. So yeah, those are my 5 tips on how to make it so much easier for when you are building out your website. I hope you found them helpful and you will be able to use it when you're building out your website, or even if you want to just rebrand or update your website. But until then, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this.